Welcome to DHayes Productions, and today I will be talking about what happened to Kwame Brown. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can know when videos are coming out, and also hit that like button. Also share it with your friends and let this channel blow up. Let's get it. In the 2001 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards selected Kwame Brown.
2001 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards select Kwame Brown from Lynn Academy, Brunswick, Georgia.
Kwame Brown was a 19-year-old entering the NBA in 2001 straight from high school as a 7-foot center. Brown finished his high school career at the historic Glenn Academy in Brunswick, Georgia. As a school's all-time leading rebounder, 1,235 rebounds, and shot blocker, 605 blocks, and also finished second all-time as a scorer, 1,539 points. He was named the 2001 McDonald's All-American team. With his performance, the NBA decided they needed a center, and GM Michael Jordan decided to draft Kwame Brown to the Washington Wizards. His first year in the NBA, he averaged 4.5 points per game, 0.5 blocks, 0.8 assists, and started 3 games. He wasn't bad this season. As a young center during the 01-02 season, he had other great big men he had to go against, such as Jermaine O'Neal, Shaq, Yao, Tim Duncan, Garnett, Dirk, and much more. His career high this season was 10 points on 4 for 11 shooting, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists against the Spurs, playing 23 minutes off the bench. Wizards' record was 5-12 that season, and they played against the 12-4 Spurs. Kwame played great against David Robinson, who scored 13 points off of 5 for 8 shooting. The Wizards' season got so bad that CEO Michael Jordan had to step down and help them out. Michael Jordan, as a 38-year-old, averaged 22.9 points per game off of 41.6% shooting, averaging 5.2 assists per game, 5.2 rebounds per game, and 0.4 blocks. If you have watched the Last Dance documentary, you knew how Michael Jordan got around his teammates and his personality. As Kwame stated, as a kid coming into the NBA, Michael Jordan did way too much that he couldn't handle. Many say GOAT Jordan ruined Kwame's career, but let's keep moving. In the 03-04 NBA season, I say was Brown's best season ever. He averaged 10.9 points per game, 0.7 blocks, 1.5 assists, and 7.4 rebounds. He played 74 games and started 57 as a PF rather than a center. So he started those games as a power forward. I think he played much better being at power forward position. Brown scored 30 points against the Sacramento Kings. He shot 75% and played a total of 38 minutes. He had multiple 10-plus scoring games this season and 20-plus scoring games, and that's, I believe, was his best season ever. But following those seasons, it went downhill. Now, the rumor that Michael Jordan was at fault isn't totally true, since 03-04 he played well. And since MJ was already retired, there was no one to blame. In the video I watched, it claims that Kwame had everlasting effects from MJ's harsh criticism, but I give Michael Jordan a pass since he's the GOAT. He wants greatness out of his teammates, and only 2 players on that Wizards team complained about Jordan criticism were people who weren't putting in any work according to the statistics. Jordan drafted them and put faith in them. No one needs to come out of retirement to help their own team out. Wizards was that bad, and it's not 100% Kwame Brown's fault either. MJ came back in 01 and 02, and the Wizards would have made the playoffs if not for Jordan's injury. Back to the subject at hand, in 04-05, Gilbert Arenas made a huge name for himself, being drafted 31 in the 2001 NBA draft, and tons of understandable jealousy came from Kwame Brown. If you watch full games, Kwame will purposely not catch rebounds, do stupid plays in order to get his way. I would be mad too if someone from the bottom of my draft class ended up outshining me and I was drafted number 1 being paid tons of money. Imagine how those people feel in the draft when Tom Brady came. GOAT Brady, 7 rings. Kwame started off okay with the first game of the season being a win against the New Jersey Nets. He dropped 6 points off the bench with 60% shooting. Then he had problems where he played 27 minutes and had 5 points on 20% shooting as a big man. That's horrible. He played 0 defense, in which he was a minus 26. He had 0 blocks and 0 steals, and this was against Kevin Garnett's Timberwolves. He was 3 for 6 from the foul line. Gilbert became the face of the team, averaging 25 points per game as a point guard. Gilbert had a great game offensively, but defensively he was a minus 21. Everyone was in the minus, but Kwame had the biggest minus on the whole team as a center and was the sole reason why they lost. The next game, he was given another chance and only scored 3, and the fans booed him, then created the name Boo Boo Brown. He was in the middle of his prime and was playing like a 2021 Lakers DeAndre Jordan. No offense, DJ. He didn't go to practice at all. His first game back, he scored 0 points and was trash. So the following games, he didn't score at all. He came back and had no good games. This is when NBA started having concerns, but he wasn't totally bad. In the playoffs, Kwame was the worst on the team. Literally. The Wizards lost every game he was in, until the coach got tired and benched him, and then he was suspended for the rest of the season. While the Wizards continued on to go to the second round, they were better without him. He was the NBA's Antonio Brown. He was Antonio Brown before Antonio Brown, but AB was great. Kwame was horrible with lots of potential but bad habits, to the point nobody wanted him to be around or wanted to be around him. He was then traded to my Los Angeles Lakers. Kwame played badly in the regular season, but this was a new team with new people and a new playbook, so he had to adjust. In the playoffs, he played good actually. He averaged 10 plus points in the playoffs and was in the plus rather than minus. But sadly, the Lakers were eliminated. In 06-07, I believe Kwame was injured in the beginning of the season, but then came back off injury. He didn't play great in the first 4 games, but he adjusted. Just a reminder, he was previously injured. Then he looked more like 03-04 Kwame. He scored multiple games with 10 plus points and almost dropped the double-double. He was then injured and inactive for 29 games. He didn't play good his first game after injury, but that's understandable. After that, he was 10 plus points again with okay defense. Then he was injured again for 5 games and came back scoring 10 plus points. In the first 2 games of the playoffs, Kwame played bad, resulting of them losing. Then in game 3, he played good, scoring 19 points on 57% shooting, resulting of them winning game 3. Then after that, they got swept mainly because he couldn't rebound and Kobe pretty much hated him. Listen to this interview.
By the way, what I say here, I say directly to them. See what I'm saying? So I don't talk behind people's backs. Things that I say to you, I'm comfortable saying it to them, and I've said this to them. And so I'm surrounded by these players, Detroit players, and Kwame's under the basket all by himself. Literally, like all by himself. So I'm passing the ball, and bobbles, it goes out of bounds. So we go back to the timeout. I'm pissed, right? And he goes, hey, I was wide open. Yeah, I know. This is how I'm talking to him. I'm doing it again. It's like a minute left. He's like, I said, you're going to be open again, Kwame. My cheese is total. Well, I'm going to first. I'm like, huh? He said, no, don't go to me. I said, why not? He said, well, I'm nervous. And if I catch it and they found me, I won't make the free throw. I said, hell no. So I go to Phil and say, hey, Phil, man, take him out the game, man. He's like, nah, let me figure it out.
Y'all can hear Kobe saying, Kwame told him, don't throw me the ball because I don't want to shoot free throws. That's a bust for number 1. They ended up trading Kwame for Pau Gasol, which Lakers ended up going to the finals later on, winning it. Kwame had a problem with it. He had a jealousy over Paul like he had with Arena since Paul came after him at number 3 in the draft class. Paul will be a first ballot Hall of Famer and will get his number 16 Lakers jersey retired at Staples Centers, while Kwame got his jersey burnt by Lakers fans. After that, Kwame then played for the Grizzlies, Pistons, Bobcats, Warriors, and 76ers. He didn't do good, and after 12 seasons and a misdiagnosed hamstring injury, that would end his NBA career where he should be in his prime. He called it quits from the game of basketball. Kwame was so bad they made a one and done rule because of him. Stephen A. Smith then started calling him a bust, which he was, but went extreme with it. Now it's at the point that if you think of the term bust, you start thinking of Kwame. Result of this, he fell into a deep depression, having to hear the whole world poke fun and throw jazz at him on every major sport radio and broadcasting show on TV and the internet. Only in the limelight of talks about if he was the worst draft bust in NBA history. Although he didn't meet everyone's expectations, Brown was still able to attain the 0.3%. That 0.3% is generous, as 3 in every 10,000 college basketball players make it to the NBA. I say the 0.3% because of the odds are far smaller coming out of high school. Although Brown may have been a bust, the reality is he could have played in any other league and been the leading scorer. It happens all the time. NBA players go overseas and destroy these other leagues and be a star over there, but that didn't interest him. Brown would pick up a basketball again and play in Ice Cube's 3-on-3 leagues. The Big Three. Make sure y'all go watch that league. It's pretty interesting. In the season, he was drafted 5th overall in 2017 by the Three-Headed Monsters. His coach was Gary Payton and played alongside Abdul Rauf and Rashard Lewis, to name a few. Although in their first year as a team together, they would make the finals but lose to a team called Trilogy. Over the years, Kwame would constantly hear his name in the negative spotlight and how much of a bust he was in the NBA. Most making fun of him, knowing he would never respond. Gilbert Arenas in 2020 was on Steven Jackson's podcast called All the Smoke. Arenas and Jackson both made their bust comments about Kwame. Kwame finally answered back. This hit home to Kwame because these two players were his former teammates. Kwame got personal and made the smoke into fire, so to speak. Brown didn't hold back, and his YouTube channel started blowing up because he started to use his voice to defend himself. That is what happened to Kwame Brown. He has a YouTube career now. He speaks on politics and certain issues, and he also has a sports channel that you guys should go ahead and check out. So make sure you guys subscribe to DHayes Production, and I am out.